Okay, we're doing a magazine review, and it'll be the final book review for tonight. That way, we'll have the Smithsonian book review for tomorrow, and some more of Lucky in Love by Carolyn Brown, and probably some more magazines in the mail. So, let's just hit this ground running, shall we? The very first article I marked in Reader's Digest, March 2021, is How to Lift Your Own Spirits. We all feel down now and then, especially lately. These techniques can help you bounce back, by Courtney Smith and Samantha Ridderwall, page 20 and 21. On a freezing January evening, Ashley Astu sat in her car in Omaha, Nebraska parking lot, working up the courage to go into a comedy improv class. For 20 minutes, the 33-year-old journalist and mom of two sat with swirling thoughts of self-doubt. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'll be the worst. Then she turned off the engine and took a couple of deep breaths and went inside. For Astu, trying to improv was the first small step to improve her self-esteem. All my life I've lacked self-confidence, she said. I didn't have the courage to try anything new. So she made a list of all the things she was afraid of to attempt, and then she asked herself, what if I didn't let my excuses win? Improv was her biggest target. Her fear dislodged as soon as she walked into the class. Her classmates were also beginners. She also discovered that she was perfectly capable of earning a few laughs and making a new friend. Over the next 2 years, Astu went on to tackle other what-ifs, including writing a book. Self-esteem is like a muscle. You have to work it constantly, she said. Some people are blessed with seemingly unshakable positivity, but most of us need to learn how to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Psychologists say we tend to experience our lowered self-esteem in adolescence and spend much of our adult lives slowly building it back up. Staying positive has been tough in the past year, since the pandemic began. There are times when American adults have reported symptoms of depression or anxiety, the malevolent cousins to low self-worth, compared with 2019. Thankfully, Astu, we can learn to feel better about ourselves and strengthen our feelings of hope. Of course, anyone experiencing severe or persistent symptoms should seek professional help. Here are 8 science-backed strategies to improve your relationship with the person in your mirror. Embrace the upside of feeling down. First, realize that negative emotions aren't inherently bad. They can be useful. That ping of anxiety gets my attention and says, hey, you need to focus on this, says psychologist Ethan Kross, author of Chatter, The Voice in Our Head, Why It Matters and How to Harness It. If you need to deal with an immediate problem, say reining in overspending, that call to focus is helpful. But negativity spirals something harmful when a particular thought circuit just won't shut off. If you can't sleep because of it, feel physically stressed all the time, or keep rehashing the same situation, those are signs you need to employ tools to break the cycle, says Kross. Engage in smarter self-talk. In his lab at the University of Michigan, Kross asks subjects to talk to themselves in the second person, and to use their own names instead of saying, I'm so nervous about this meeting on Tuesday. For example, say your name. You seem pretty nervous about this meeting. Kross research shows that this simple shift in language gets people into problem-solving mode quicker. They turn into coaches and start self-advising themselves, taking stock of problem and figuring out if they have a way to resource to meet it, Kross says. Change your view, literally. If you are forlornly looking out the window, lost in thought, walk to a different window. Alternate perspectives help us digest our experiences, and changing our physical view intuitively jogs a different emotional one as well. When I'm stuck feeling a certain way and then I choose to walk away and look for something better, that's a choice to do something good for myself. That itself is a treatment, says Sasha Story-Sally, the LCSW, an end-of-life counselor to the terminally ill transplant patients in New York City. Repeat a task that you're good at. Canadian psychologist Patrick Kepian plays piano every day. It's one way he practices what he preaches when helping people with low self-esteem. He suggests that they routinely engage in activities that use improv with their skills. or that improve their skills, excuse me. When you're good at doing something that you're good at or getting better at, it gets harder to think negatively about yourself, he explains. So don't wait till you're feeling confident to work on your chess game. Learn to build furniture or try out a new recipe. According to a 14-year study of 7,000 volunteers, increasing the self-perception that you're mastering an activity of interest so you can boost self-esteem at every age. Reminisce. While some research suggests happiness increases with age, studies also suggest that self-esteem peaks at age 60, then declines. As people get older, the loss of loved ones, professional identity, or independence can threaten the sense of who they are. Telling someone stories from the past may bolster self-esteem at the key moment. In 2015, a study from a RAND group, widowed men 60 and over, shared memories of the events and the life lessons that had shaped their lives. Page 24. This promoted a sense of identity and a positive contribution to the next generation, and reaffirmed the meaning of their lives. The researchers reported that taking a trip down memory lane by looking through a photo album with loved ones or playing music that reminds you of meaningful moments. Because music that reminds you of meaningful moments can boost your self-esteem. Believe that you matter. A study in 2020 reveals that mattering, the bedrock belief that you are important and worthy of consideration, is linked to joy. Strong personal relationships are the best aids to believing you matter, says the article published last year in the Journal of Mental Health and Addiction. Spend time with loved ones. Remind them you offer a shoulder to cry on. It's nice to know that someone cares, and in turn they can count on me when they need help, said the one person interviewed. Maintaining a sense of control, especially over your own health care issues, also boosts your sense of importance. When you take the initiative to find medical providers attentive to your needs, or ask family members not to bypass you when medical decisions are being made, you reinforce that feelings that you are worthy of attention. Share your feelings carefully. When we are strongly negative, our emotions, we often feel an urgent need to talk about them. Research shows that this doesn't always ease out turmoil. Not venting sessions where both parties complain, such interactions can reactivate negative emotions, making us live through them again. What's important is to get feedback that moves you beyond the negative feelings, says Cross. Talk about what's bothering you, but be deliberate, he says. Go to someone empathetic. Go to someone who doesn't just listen, but who gives you advice and helps you see the bigger picture. Storossi puts it bluntly, you need people who lift you up. If you don't have these people, go find them. Get moving. There's no silver bullet for improving your low morale, but the exercise is the closest thing we have. Not only is it good for stress management and the general mental health, but it also provides a sense of competence and accomplishment. Over the years, dozens of studies have indicated that exercise has a significant impact on physical self-worth and other self-perceptions. The activity you choose matters, and lesson than enjoying it, stick with it, getting at least a moderate challenge out of it. If you're going to the gym and it's not an option or very enjoyable to you, then head outdoors for a walk and a run, a nice brisk walk. Moving forward. Laugh lines. We need a little laughter after all that serious stuff, don't we? Okay. Imagine being a spy right now, stuck at home trying to convince your family that you have a normal job. From hashtag Billy Believes. Super unprofessional when ventriloquists argue with their puppets over which one is the dummy. Figure out that backstage. Chris Stevens, MD. Now that my boyfriend is working from home, I've asked him that we liven things up by pretending that we're having an office affair. Fern Brady. Virtual meetings are basically modern seances. Elizabeth, are you here? Is anyone else with you? We can't see you. Can you hear us? McClellan Shane. Please quit telling me to, quote, keep up the good work. The good work was an accident and impossible to replicate. House _feminists. My boss just called me into the office and told me I've been spending too much time on Twitter. He's saying something right now. Dan Mentos works like a charm. I guess we're supposed to laugh at those, but some of them didn't seem so funny. That was page 32. I'll keep these all marked so I can reference them when I come back to it. Rules for being the age you are. Whether you're 20, 120, the author's surprise-filled guide can help anyone live their life happily ever after. Megan McArdile from the Bloomberg.com. Have a spook in the room, I guess. If, like me, you have recently entered that period of life known as middle age, take heed. Building the years of your life are over. What you are now is pretty much what you're going to be, and soon it will be what you were. You can no longer tell yourself that you might have moved into Lisbon or Portuguese and take up guitar, but you can follow a set of simple rules to guide the rest of the way. Best of all, the rules work no matter what age or stage of life. First and foremost, be kind. Mean is easy, kind is hard. Once we reached the 8th grade, many of us got the idea that nasty put-downs was the superior smile and the clever one-liners are the way of signs of intelligence and the great personal strengths. But this kind of wit is to borrow from the writer John Scalzi, playing the game on the easy mode. Making yourself feel bigger by making someone else feel smaller takes so little skill that a 12-year-old can do it. Always order one extra dish, an unfamiliar one, at the restaurant. You might like it, which would be splendid, but if you don't like it, all you lost was a couple of bucks. If you can't afford to order one extra dish, then the restaurant is too expensive for your budget anyway, and you should find a cheaper one. Give yourself permission to be bad. You know what you're really good at? The things you've done many times before. Mastery is boredom. Unfortunately, we enjoy the feelings of mastery. We hate the feeling of feeling like idiots, so we keep ourselves bored in order to protect ourselves from feeling stupid. This is a bad trade, and not the sort of bad I'm talking about. Go to the party even when you don't want to. 9 times out of 10 you'll get bored and go home early, but the 10th time you will have a worthy experience or meet an interesting person. It will be more than redeeming those wasted hours later. Don't just pay people compliments, give them living eulogies. Tell them exactly how fantastic they are in many ways. Embarrass them. Here's a funny thing I've learned. No matter how many times you hear them, the words, "You are amazing," and "here's why," never go out of style. That thing you kind of wanted to do someday, do it now. I mean literally. Pause reading this column, pick up the phone and book that skydiving session right now. I'll wait. Don't put it off until you have time to relax and enjoy it. That will be approximately 3 decades from now, and it's highly possible you won't be able to enjoy it. I will never forgive myself for passing up a chance to go to a trapeze school in my late 20s. I figured I could always do it later, little knowing that in my early 30s my lower back would decide to take up amateur dramatics. At least somebody got to perform. Tone down the cynicism. At some point in life we get the idea that believing in things, art, politics makes you a sucker, and being real means accepting how rotten to the core everything is. True, there's a lot of rottenness in this world, but cynicism is radically incomplete. In fact, human beings are often splendid. The world is often glorious. Nature, red in tooth and claw, also invented kindness, charity, and love. Believe in that. Don't try to resolve fundamental conflicts with loved ones. The only people who win martial arguments about bedrock values and divorce lawyers. I mean, you wouldn't say I have a free hour, but I bet I could solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and still have time for a spot of tennis. So why do you try to use that same hour to convince your spouse that the potato salad should have pickles in it? Unless it is an external threat to your future, out-of-control spending, wants, doesn't want kids, abuse, leave it alone. On your deathbed, your spouse and friends will be there holding your hand. The dream house you're dying to buy will not be. Be grateful. No matter how awful your life seems at this moment, you have something to be grateful for. You have been granted 2 billion seconds on this planet, give or take. You are a billionaire. Many billionaires, however, squander most of their fortunes on bitter recriminations about how unfair everything is. You won't get a refund from the universe for the time you spent brooding about the unfairness. You lose those seconds just as surely as you lose a second spent experiencing joy, and they don't even give you something nice to remember them by. Always make more dinner rolls than you think you can eat. For some reason, dinner rolls loom much larger in our imaginations than in our stomachs. And at the very bottom it says, the cat's out of the bag. My email password has been hacked. That's the third time I've had to rename my cat. Ha ha ha. And that was a good little article. Moving forward. We've got a bunch, and I do mean a bunch. Let me see how many pages this one is. Okay, it looks like we can cover these pages. I was like going, if this is going to be going on much longer, I'm getting wore out because I'm getting old. Anyway, news from the world of medicine. Sleep better under a weighted blanket. Most people want to treat their insomnia without drugs for good reasons. Since sleeping pills can lead to dependency and cause dizziness and falls, a Swedish trial recently tested another option, weighted blankets. Available from retailers selling bedding, and the blankets supplements the usual filling materials with pellets, chains, or beads. The added weight creates a grounding effect that brings the body comfort and calm. Compared the study's subjects who went to bed with a light cover, those given a blanket weighted about 15 pounds saw health improvement in sleep and mental health, such as depression and anxiety. Okay, binge drinking may raise dementia risk. Overindulge in alcohol and you'll pay the price the next morning. Do it repeatedly and the price might be a bit steeper. A paper published in JAMA Network Open looked at people's drinking habits and the effects over a period of 12 to 30 years. Those who sometimes drank enough to lose consciousness were roughly twice as likely to eventually develop dementia. This held true regardless of how much they usually drank overall. So even if you're a moderate drinker, someone who consumes 14 or fewer alcohol units per week, a can of beer or a standard glass of wine contains around 2 units. You should still be careful not to drink too much at once. Don't hit the road after hitting your head. Even if you feel you've recovered from a concussion, its effects could be impairing your driving, according to a study published in the Journal of Sport and Health Science. When researchers put concussed patients in simulated scenarios, seeing a child running in front of the car, for example, their reaction times were slower than normal. Even though their symptoms had cleared up, the research is so new that to say exactly how long, but it's best to wait a bit. Your symptoms subside before you get behind the wheel. For your health, pick up the phone. Ever since emailing and texting came along, many of us relied on them to stay in touch. In part, we think a call might be more intrusive. However, when subjects in Texas did a study, they were randomly assigned to reconnect with an old friend by either email or a phone call. Calling gave them a stronger feeling of being bonded without additional awkwardness. Many had expected feeling connected to others as essential for health and well-being, so when it comes to long-distance or socially distanced relationship, we should limit our text-based communication and choose calls or video chats more often. Do blood pressure medications raise cancer risk? An answer at last. Scientists have long discussed the possibility that hypertension drugs might affect cancer risk. Over several decades of research, the evidence has been inconsistent. Some studies suggested that they increase the cancer rate, while others indicated they lower it or don't change it at all. After a number of news stories focused only on the former, some patients were hesitant to take their medication. But now the larger analysts to date should put their minds at ease. Based on 31 trials involving a total of 2,060,000 people around the world, the review concluded that no blood pressure drug raises the risk of cancer. Meanwhile, there is good evidence that these medications help prevent the heart attack and strokes in people with high blood pressure. Eating well improves your health even without weight loss. People with obesity don't need reminding that as a group that they have a higher risk of life-threatening health issues. It's not that they don't realize this, it's the shredding extra pounds and keeping them off is far easier said than done. A study from Sweden, Uppsala University, explored that what might be a more feasible way of reducing the risk. Adopting healthy eating habits, not to be confused with dieting, which is solely focused on losing weight, and may not include meals with a balanced array of nutritious foods. When the study began, its 79,003 participants had an average age of 61. To estimate healthiness of each person, usually eating habits, researchers assessed how closely daily meals resembled the traditional Mediterranean diet, which relies on fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, unrefined or high-fiber grains, fish, and olive oil. During the 21 years of follow-up, people who ate healthier but remained obese were no more likely to die than healthy eaters whose weight was lower, though they still had a slightly elevated risk of dying significantly from heart-related causes. Meanwhile, people who were obese but didn't tend to eat well had an above average risk of death. The takeaway, while body weight is one factor in health and life expectancy, it is far from the be-all, end-all. Dancing helps seniors stay on their feet. Worldwide, almost a third of people over 65 take a tumble each year. Dance activities such as tango, folk dancing, or swing reduce the risk by around 37%, according to this new review. This is likely because dancing improves your balance, your mobility, and lower body strength, and there's a train coming through. Stressed at a pet video can help. It turns out that watching cat videos on the internet may actually do some good. I'm waiting for him to toot his horn. I knew he would. Okay, thank you. We already know that thank you again. We already know that hanging out with pets in the real life can relieve stress. But now a British trial suggests that watching adorable animals on the screen can trigger a similar effect on your blood pressure. The next time you're feeling a bit anxious, spend some time with a cute critter online might help. Thankfully, we're getting close to the end of the book. Okay. We got some laughter moments here that we're going to share with you. They show a calendar here that looks kind of like a Jeopardy calendar. And I really don't know why that is shown, but I'll read it to you. It says, ways in which people have wronged me, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Strange noises, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Diseases I probably have, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Money troubles, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Why did I say do that, 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50? Ideas for a screenplay, 10, 20, 30, or 40, or 50. See, they're not really saying why they showed that, but this gives me an awesome break for some water. Okay. Laughter. James received a bill for his recent surgery and was astonished to see $900 for the anesthesiologist. He called the office to demand the explanation. Is this some kind of mistake, he asked when he got to the doctor on the phone. No, not at all, the doctor said calmly. Well, said James, irritated, that's awfully costly for just knocking someone out. Not really, replied the doctor. I knocked you out for free. The $900 was for bringing you back. Submitted by Archie Muscato from Peoria, Arizona. St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland. They gave him a great Uber rating. Rolling in the eat. For Lent, I gave up ice cream, fast food, and pizza, but obviously not lying. Submitted by Doug Torlison from Tulsa, Oklahoma. An executive was interviewing applications for the position of divisional manager. He asked each applicant, what's 2 plus 2? The first interview was an engineer. He pulled out a slide rule and showed off an answer to the between 3,999 and 4,001. He didn't get the job. The next candidate was a lawyer. She stated that in the case of Jenkins versus Brown, 2 plus 2 was improved by 4. She also didn't get the job. The applicant was an accountant when the businessman asked, What's 2 plus 2? The accountant got up from his chair, closed the door, and said in a low voice, How much do you want it to be? He got the job. The kid, Mommy, why are all the cars beeping their horns? Mom, because there's a wedding going on. Kid, but Mommy, isn't the horn a warning signal? The mom, exactly, son. A guy tells a psychiatrist, I've always had this weird dream where I'm locked in a room. There's a door, but no matter how hard I try to push it open, it won't budge. Interesting, says the psychiatrist. And does it say anything on the door? Yes, the guy replies. It says pull. A very long shot. About 10% of Americans fill out March Madness brackets for a pool at the office or friends. Here are some signs that you won't be winning any prizes for yours. You think that Gonzales is a euphorism. Your Final Four includes the University of Phoenix and Hogwarts. Your top seed is Sesame. Your which mascot would win in a fight? Mythically yield a showdown between the Long Island University Ninja Pirates and the Ionia Chuck Norrises. That's cute. And I think we're about at the end, which that means word power time. I live for this. After a long dark winter, we're ready to look on the bright side. Celebrate the glimmer of spring with these words related to the light. Once you've had a chance to shine, turn the next page for the answer. Donna's going to play along with you. So the first word, number your paper 1 to 15. So let me do that here first. We're going to number down to 15. And we're going to pick a letter. We're going to go with it and see how we do. And we'll do the results too. This is always fun. I have more fun doing this, I think, than doing anything else. And y'all are probably groaning right now going, this feels like we're going back to school. It's only 15 questions, you'll live. Okay, luminary. It's a noun. Is it A, a heat lamp, B, a brilliant person, or C, a film projector? And it's a noun. Luminary. I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. Luminary. Okay. I'm going to go with A heat lamp. 2, gloaming. It's a noun. Is it A, the dawn, B, noon, or C, twilight? Gloaming. And that is spelt Gloaming. Okay. I'm going to go with twilight, C. Refract, which is a verb. Is it A, bend, B, scatter, or C, dim? Refract, R-E-F like Frank, R-A-C-T like Tom. I'm going to go with B, scatter. Parasol, is that A, a glowworm, B, a sunshade, or C, a waxy glow? It's a noun. P as in Paul, A like apple, R like Ralph, A like apple, S like Sam, O like Oprah, L like Larry. I'm going to go with B, sunshade. 5, translucent. And it's an adjective. Is it A, allowing the light through, B, blocking the light, or C, producing the light? Again, translucent. T-R-A-N like Nancy, S-L-U-C like Charlie, E-N like Nancy, T. Translucent. I'm going to go with A, allowing the light through. Okay. Scintillate. And it's a verb. And it's spelt S like Sam, C like Charlie, I like ice, N like nice, T like Tom, I like Larry, or I like ice, L like Larry, L like Larry, A, T like Tom, E. Is it A, polish until glossy, B, extinguish, or C, gives off sparks? I'm going to go with C. Gives off sparks. 7. Beacon, which is a noun. Is it A, a guiding light, B, a camera flash, or C, a sunbeam? I'm going to go with A, a guiding light. 8. Scone. It's a noun. And is it A, unit of electricity, B, a light fixture, C, a firework launcher? Now, how is this spelt? S like Sam, C like Charlie, O like Oprah, N like Nancy, C like Charlie, and E like egg. Sconus. I'm going to go with a unit of electricity, A. 9. Incandescent, and it's an adjective. Is it A, white hot, B, candlelit, or C, reflective? Incandescent. I'm going to go with candlelit, B. 10. Heliotropic. It's an adjective. It's spelt, it looks like hello and tropic. Is it A, turning toward the sun, B, tan, or C, near the equator? I'm going to go with B, tan. 11. Diurnal, and it's an adjective, and it's spelt D like David, I like ice, U like umbrella, R like Ralph, N like Nancy, A like apple, L like Larry. Is it A, in shaded area, B, twice a day, or C, active in the daytime? Diurnal. I'm going to say it's in a shaded area, A. 12. Foxfire. Is it A, a controlled burn, it's a noun, B, a glow from the fungus, or C, an explosion in battle? I'm going to go with C, explosion in battle. That sounds what that sounds like to me. 13, we're about done. Flamant. It's a noun, and it's spelt F like Frank, I like ice, L like Larry, A like apple, M like Mary, E like egg, N like Nancy, and T like Tom. Is it a flickering ember, a wire in a bulb, or a constellation? I'm going to go a wire in a bulb, B. 14. Spectrum. Is it a total eclipse, and it's a noun, a band of colors, or a light transmitted by a cable wire? I'm going to go with a band of colors, B. Effulgent, and this is an adjective, and it's spelt E like egg, F like Frank, U like umbrella, L like Larry, G like go, E like egg, N like Nancy, and T like Tom. Is it A, flashing intermittently, B, fading to black, or C, shining brilliantly? I'm going to go with C, shining brilliantly. So let's get our answers now. See how we did. Okay, first it says at top, clock talk. Yearning for the brighter evenings? Well, they're almost here. Most of the United States will spring forward an hour on March 14th. First champion in New Zealand and England, the practice of changing the clocks twice a year debuted during World War I. Now, in part of to conserve the coal, while some call the ritual daylight savings time, its original and correct name, it's daylight savings time. Okay. Your answers. Now, 1, luminary, is B, brilliant person. Her photographic memory has helped Barbara become a luminary in the world of bridge, and I got that wrong. 2 is C, and it's called gloaming, twilight. As I walked in the gray gloaming, I heard an owl hooting in the distance. Ooh, I got that right. Get a star. 3, refract, is to bend. The sunlight refracted through the prism in the window, splashing the tiny rainbows on the wall. I got that wrong. 4. Parasol is a sunshade. In addition to wearing the SPF 50 daily, Lorraine often carried a parasol. And that is B. Again, I got that right. 5. Translucent, allowing the light through. Cook the onions until they're translucent, removing them until they're brown. So that's A. 6 is scintilate, which is giving off sparks. When the campfire starts to simulate, we can settle in for the evening and sing songs and stories, which is the answer of C. Ooh, I got that right. So far, I've only missed 2. That's not bad. 7. Beacon is a guiding light. Bring a good beacon to set up at your base camp. And I got that right. 8. Science, which is a light fixture. Elijah looked dozens of sciences before settling on one that he liked, which was B. I got that one wrong. I spoke too soon. 9. Incandescent is a white hot, a glass blower that turns incandescent liquid glass into a piece of art. A. Got that one wrong. Okay, 10. Heliotropic, turning toward the sun. The young sunflowers are heliotropic, facing east at dawn and following the light westward. Is A. Got that one wrong. 11. Diurnal, which is the active in the daytime. After working at the graveyard shift a year, Elijah asked to switch to the diurnal schedule, which should be C. And I got that wrong. Come on. 12. Foxfire, the glow from a fungus. Certain kinds of mushroom produce a foxfire, an eerie blue-green light. The letter B. 13. The letter B is a filament, the wire in a light bulb. Thomas Edison chose the type of bamboo for his electric lights filament. I got that right. Thank you very much. And 14, spectrum is B, the brand of colors. Ellen Jean's beautiful paintings use every hue in the spectrum. Got it right. And 15 is effulgent, which is shining brilliantly. Number C, the effulgent moon hung high in the sky, illuminating the forest. And I got that right. Now count up the ones you got right, but first I'll read off the letters again, just in case you didn't hear me. 1 is B. 2 is C. 3 is A. 4 is B. 5 is A. 6 is C. 7 is A. 8 is B. 9 is A. 10 is A. 11 is C. 12 is B, 13 is B, 14 is B, and 15 is C. So now I'm going to see how many I got right, and I'll give you the vocabulary rating in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 right. If you got 9 and below, you're a flicker. I'm a flicker. If you got 10 to 12, you're a blaze. If you got 13 to 15, you're a conflagration. And that is all we're doing for today in Reader's Digest, the March issue. Now, there's many more wonderful stories in this book and some games to play. So be sure to check this out, pick it up. You won't regret it. And it's a wonderful book. So that is your magazine review of the March 2021 Reader's Digest.